Mandukya Upanishad. May we begin with Shantipat.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
We began with Shantipat. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shunuyam Devaha. Bhadram, which we tried studying last time. Anything and everything auspicious we may hear. O Lord, bless us. O God, bless me. Now the word Bhadram peaceful, blissful, subjective, meaning not for our external being, but our inner being, divinity, consciousness, whatever word you use. May we hear the pure word. And last time we were looking at the three words, that is Suddhoham, Buddhoham, Nityoham, Shivoham. On these words, we have to contemplate enough. At some point in time, we must have studied that even if we memorize the entire Upanishad, and we can even give lectures on this Upanishad, we may even be knowing the meaning of it on which we can talk. But the situation is, have we experienced that? And what we mean by experiencing? Simple examples we often learn, and that is, we have not burnt enough. Meaning if we touch fire and we get burned, it's a different story. Then, to talk about fire, we can write even a thesis about fire. We can explain to somebody what is fire. But unless and until we have experienced the heat and the flame of the fire, experience, mind you. So today, I would like just to spend a few minutes on what is that experience. We often worship gods, goddesses. We go to the temple. We worship idol. Well, but please do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying do not worship idol. But do we really understand the essence of it? One example today I would like to take that of goddess Saraswati. Now, please take it out of our head that it's a Hindu deity. But more than that, let's see what symbolically that goddess represents. First of all, to block our mind, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, word nirodha, meaning we will not have a vikshepa or the disturbing thoughts coming to us. And non-disturbing thought is still one thing, but Bhadram thought, auspicious thought. Now that is possible only when our mind is under our mastery. And to train our mind, one of the methods which has been often suggested, and most of us some point in time or some magnitude or other, we do that. That is by rosary. We can say God's or goddess's name and we move one beat forward. Now, that rosary is nothing but repetition of certain mantras. With the mantra also, don't get carried away. You can say something which is auspicious, something which is better. So that when you are continuously repeating, and if your mind is in it, then you will experience what is that word Bhadram mean? What is that word peaceful mean? What is that word Ananda mean? Then those words become alive. So to have a rosary as an indication. Secondly, if we know that any of the scriptures that we study often and wholeheartedly, and we get sunk into those scriptures is something to go within and empower us to lead to the experience of consciousness. And to experience this and to learn this, Sanskrit word is Veda. And you can simply translate as spiritual scriptures, but understand what I explained you just now. So Veda. One of the instruments in Sanskrit, it's called a veena. In English, you can say harp, which is a string instrument and has two sets of strings. One is the string over which the player's hand moves, and those need to be tuned properly and need to be played properly. And there is a second set of strings that get tuned and that synchronously plays with the external string. That instrument is also depicted in the hands of that goddess. So what does it indicate? That by tuning our external instrument and playing the right tune, Bhadram, your inner string gets tuned. Still take one or two more points. It has been said that the bird peacock has the ability to separate the pearl from pebbles. So what does that indicate? The presence of the peacock indicates a discernment power, a discriminatory power. And for our spiritual purpose, we have to experience what we need to experience, nitya from anitya. Nitya means permanent, anitya, transient or temporary. So this is peacock. Another thing is another word which has been often used as a sign, and that is swan. Swan is said to have the ability to separate milk from water. And one more element which has been used, which is lotus. In almost all Bharatiya cultures, the lotus is so predominantly used because the lotus floats on water or on dirt and not a speck of a small droplet or the mud sticks to the petal of lotus. And as a result, what it says that when we want to do our sadhana and when we are living in the society, and if I may use the word dirt, please pardon me, but if it is so-called unholy, if it is abhadram, or it is not bhadram, say, still, if you are a sadhak, you will rise above, staying in the mud, but mud does not touch you. The disturbances does not touch you. The ambience, the environment being not proper, it does not touch you. When you combine all these elements together and an artist gives a form, that form has been named as Goddess Saraswati. Goddess, name, and you can say, why not God? Goddess is always treated as a source of energy. And please never ever get into male-female aspect at all. But you understand that when we worship, when we pray, when we look at it, when we do dharana and eventually dhyana on Goddess Saraswati, what experience that comes to us? One word, Bhadram. So in this Shanti part, Om Bhadram Karnebi Sunuyam Devaha. Only Bhadram I can hear. Oh Lord, bless my ears. So when we are beginning this Upanishadic study, are we tuning ourselves to hear Bhadram only? And this is not just today. This is not just for an hour or two. But do your best every single moment in your life. Curtail yourself and remind yourself of just the word Bhadram. Do I hear Bhadram? Am I engaged and in opinionated discussion? Am I engaged into proving myself superior, other person to be inferior? Am I engaged into the criticism? Am I engaged into like and dislike? So any of the word understand like and dislike meaning too. That means what? Even the very first word, Suddhoham, I'm the purest. That thing gets tinted. Buddho, then the Suddhoham, Buddhoham. Buddha, the enlightened one, or the one who has thoroughly understood and experienced and practicing Suddha, Buddha, and hence Bhadram. Understand and please contemplate on it, the word Bhadram. Last time we were requested to contemplate on the word Bhadram. Today, we'll once upon take it to ourselves as our course of study, our course of sadhana, and what is Saraswati. Now, I will just share with you a picture which I picked up from Google, and almost all Bharatiya, they know what is Goddess Saraswati, but if you will now look with the little explanation that we studied, and this goddess will have 4 hands, one will have that mala of the rosary, one will be holding the musical instrument veena, and the other hand will be playing it. So both hands will be playing and holding, and the fourth hand will be holding the scripture or Veda. You will see a peacock standing by, you will see a swan standing by, and you will see this goddess is sitting on the altar of lotus. Allow me to share that picture. See the one that I was talking about, this right front arm is playing the string instrument veena, and the other arm is holding and playing, pressing those strings onto the metal bars. This is rosary, and this is the scripture Veda, some kind of booklet. She's sitting in Padmasana, Padma, the lotus. Padmasana indicates unshakable and one of the most steady posture. Look at her spine, look at her posture. And here is the swan. And some other, these are the lotus leaf and lotus flower, and on the back is the peacock. Now you know why we have this image. Rather than worshipping the image once in a while, please contemplate on the symbolism that this goddess carries, and contemplate and contemplate and contemplate on the word Bhadra. So the very first line of the Shanti part, Om Bhadram Karnevi Shruyam Deva. So, whereby we all are requested that simply do not memorize it, simply do not read the translation, try to get into the essence of it. What is that knowledge? And as the Mandukya Upanishad says, having known which, nothing needs to be known. And all this intelligence, all that knowledge with which the existence exists is nothing but Goddess Saraswati. Any energy in the world that we talk about, energy is energy, but the intelligence aspect is Goddess Saraswati. We can be talking about the other goddesses, too, Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Durga, Amba, but today, for the time being, because the word was coming so strong to me, the word Bhadra, Om Bhadram Karnevi Shunyam Devaha. So with this, dear friend, let us move on to the, and we also understand the sadhana, right? The stages of self-realization. The word prajnanam, pra and gnanam. Gna. Gna means knowledge. What is that knowledge? Not the scripture per se. So some of the highly realized soul will say, even you do not need to have any books to study. So sometimes we wonder, why do they say so? Because we get carried away in saying that I know entire Bhagavad Gita, I know entire Mandukya Upanishad, I can talk on it. Talking is out of your memory. You can write a big thesis about different temperatures, fires, flames, and whatnot. The effect of it also you can write. Have you been burnt once? Have you seen when you close your eyes? Could you feel the word Bhadram? So hereafter, dear friend, always pay full attention to Shanti Path in the beginning and in the end of this hour. The beginning, because that with that contemplation, we study the instructions of this wonderful Upanishad. And toward the end also we chant. And at the time the word Bhadram keeps on reminding us for entire 6 days and 23 hours so that we are ready for the next Thursday after calming our mind down, and we are ready on the dot of 6 to further study and experience. But this is now the the fourth sloka. The fourth slok, what does it say? Let us hear the pronunciation properly.
स्वप्नस्थानोऽन्तः प्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्गयेकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक्तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः.
Dvitiya pada, that is the second pada, second chapter. What this is swapnasthana. Swapna literally means dream. One who has dream state as one's field. Now, when they say field, a particular to do a certain particular type of activity. When your eyes are open, you are doing in the awake state. So try to understand when they say filled, filled does not mean physical filled. But when you are dreaming, when your eyes are closed and you are not aware of the external field or the external activity, so in the dream, you will feel only dream activity, what you are dreaming. And that is called antah pragna, antah inner, pragna knowledge, who is conscious of internal sapta, okay, internal, meaning whatever you dream of. And in the dream state, that one is so real. We'll talk about it in a minute. Sapta Anga, 7 limbs, and Ekon Vinsati Mukha, 19 mouth that we talked about earlier. Pravikta Bhuka, what experience of the subtle. Now, this to a degree it is subtle because it is not real, but looks like, and still it is objective world. And we'll talk about the word objective world because objective meaning, it comes and goes. Subject stays forever. Taijasa, it is the first one was called a Vaishwanara. These are the names given by the rishis or the scientists. Taijasa, Tej literally also means light or the brightness. Tej. Taijasa, Dvitiya, second, Pada, or the quarter. Now, because earlier, if you recall, in the first chapter, they say, okay, first let me get into the translation here. The second quarter, second part, is Tejasa, whose sphere of activity is in the dream state, who is conscious of the internal world of objects. Pay attention to objects. Who has 7 limbs and 19 mouths and who enjoys the subtle objects of the mental world. All right, I will come out of this slide. So, couple points that we need to understand. We have 3 fields of activity. What are those 3 fields on which or on that grounds, 3 grounds, we are playing all the roles. Now, don't take it ground as a ground, but the stage over which we carry out. And stage is also not a physical state. So once your eyes are open and you are studying the entire world, at that time you are not dreaming. So at that time, that stage, that time, that place, that mental and physical and emotional activities, those are done on the field of Vaishwanara, on the field of Jagruta Sthiti. And the second part, which we are just now studying, that second part is during which we are dreaming, we are experiencing. And at this stage in the game, I'm not going to differentiate much, but you know, we originally began with the story, is this real or that is real? Ye such or wo such. That meaning, when my eyes were open and I was seeing the world of object, was that real? Or the object which I dreamt, that during which my kingdom was taken away, I was thrown out of my reign or my country. I had nothing to eat. And the last bit of food was also spoiled by that bird. So at that time he feels so agitated and he screams. So until the screaming, his experience of the dream world, Taijasa, was appeared to be so real that he got scared. And remember, king is screaming. And no matter what time, right outside his bedroom, there are always guards with swords and spears. At that time I'm talking about, they are always ready to protect the master. But so during that time, he's so confused. He's not interested into regular question. Go and check this and go and check that. But he is questioning so deep within. Is this real or that is real? This meaning what? When his eyes are open and he is in the state of Vaishwanara, he is in the state of Jagruti. So he's thinking, is this Jagruti state real? Or my Swapna sthiti, or my dream state, which is Tejasa, that is real. But the two look so distinctly different. Because the dream state is telling me I'm no more a king and I'm a beggar. And Jagruta sthiti, Vaishwanara stage, is telling I am the ruler, I am the king. What is real? And that, right now, just for the time being, is two stages. If we take from our life and we question the life right now at this very moment, we're studying this lovely Upanishad, you can ask yourself, is this real? Or when I will be sleeping after a few hours and I'll be dreaming of either fearsome or some lovely dreams. At that time, of course, we will not be awake, so we don't know. But a hint in sadhana out of the second stage, Tejasa, is to when you're dreaming and you become semi-conscious that, oh my God, this is dream, this is not real. Don't open your eyes and be conscious of the dream. Let me repeat what I'm saying. I'm side by side showing you a path of sadhana, a path of contemplation, a path of spiritual practice, and to understand and experience the word Bhadram. So going back to the first story, is this real or that is real? And last time the example was given, that of that golden brick and statue of God made up of wood. But the true story about that one is that bunch of spiritual students are meeting and they say, we are spiritual, we are doing nothing but this. So the teacher was smart enough and to guide them properly, make them awake, let them bring to the state of discernment. He says, everybody knows that in Ramayana story, Ramayana history, Rama is a good character, God, and the demon, which is Ravana is demon. So he asked all those students, what would you like to be, Ram or Ravan? Now you tell me, who would prefer to be Ravan? None. naturally. And you will also find a lot of people named Ram, but has there been a single boy who is named Ravan? No, because we don't even like the name, because he is portrayed to be evil person. Let's not also get into that side. So just understand Ravana is a demon character, Ram is a good character. So he says, the teacher is saying, are you sure that you dislike Ravan and you do not want to have or to be Ravan? And he says, definitely not. And he says, okay, I have two statues. One is made up of wood and the other one is made up of gold. Ram statue I have intentionally made out of wood or a mud. And Ravan statue I have made specially of 24 karat gold. And then he asked the question, which one would you prefer? And truly speaking, let us ask this question ourselves. We all will go after 24 karat gold because we are money minded. We don't care between Ram and Ravan. Where is our benefit? Where do I get money from? So we are hypocrite when we say, oh God, I love you. Do you really love God? That is where, dear friend, when you say, Badram Karnebi Sunuyam Devaha. Badram, ask yourself, under all circumstances, would we care for the word Badram? And that too, like Goddess Saraswati. You don't have to go on the mountains of Himalayas or the foothills of Himalayas and talk about or feel about what is there in that piece, so that do I get mad there or not? No. In the mud, in the sansara, in the society, staying right here. What am I feeling it? Am I feeling egocentric? Am I feeling equality? Am I differentiating between Vaishwanara and Tejasa? Tejas, the dreamland, Vaishwanara, awake state. But mind you, even though the word awake is used, but it's not awakened state. It's not fully discerned state. It's not fully Suddha state. It's not fully Buddha state. It is also not Nitya state. And hence it is definitely not Shiva Swarupa, Shiva state. Dear friend, what an auspicious day that we are talking about Shiva, the ocean of consciousness. And today happened to be Maha Shiva Ratri. Maha, the greater than greatest, Shiva, Shiva, Ratri, night. So those of you who would like to have extra contemplation or sadhana to be done tonight, listen to this Shivoham, Shivoham. And you can go on YouTube, you will find it, just type it, Shivoham, and you will find that. Either listen to it, if you have a rosary, just put advance one bead at a time and just say Shivoham, Shivoham. Or Om Namaha Shivaya. Shivaya to Shiva, Nama, bow down. I bow down to O Lord Shiva. And understand Shiva not as a god from Hinduism. We are going beyond all ism. We are understanding Shiva as the ocean of consciousness. So this second pad, the fourth sloka, and let me take you to one more stage. The closer and closer we'll get to after the third state, the fourth state, I will honestly and earnestly request, try not to be absent, and that may be next to next week or partially next week and the following week. It is going to be very difficult and the easiest of all. See how paradoxical statement I'm making. And we don't know, we may even go one or two more sessions on it. So this is just to pre-inform you. Let me take you to the next stage. We studied slok number 4. Now we are going to slok number 5. Supta sthiti.
यत्र सुप्तो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तम् सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एवानन्दमयो ह्यानन्दभुक्चेतो मुखः प्राज्ञास्तृतीयः पादः.
Understand the word yatra here where supta, the supta fast asleep. But this is not the sloka or the Sanskrit defines. Supta, the deep sleep state in which one is self-ignorant. He does not know who is he. And he is not the player at all. Very powerful word. How would you say that you were fast asleep? No dream. That means you were not even aware of yourself. Self-ignorant. No, not question, kamam. Any question, any kamam, object, external object, kamayate, desires, kamam and kamayate. So there at that time, no external object was desired of. Desire means not necessarily wanting, but desire even to think of. It may be neutral, it may be rejection, it may be attraction. So, na does not question any swapnam, dream state. So this is also not any of the dream state, or it is not dream pashyati, pashyati sees. So no dream was seen. That sushuptam is the deep sleep stage. Suptam and susuptam, deep sleep, dreamless. Susuptasthana, whose filled, now we have learned the word filled. in which objects are absent and the self, the seer, not the true seer, but the seer, the mind and everything is absent. Then only you can have deep sleep. So whose field is the deep sleep state. Eki bhuta, meaning everything is united into one. In other words, at that time there is no swapna sthana and there is no jagruta sthana. There is no vaishwanara and there is no tejasa. Understand the word eki bhuta. Ek means one or united. Pragnana ghanam eva, mass of mere consciousness. The word ghana is to be understood. Mass of mere consciousness. What do you mean by mere consciousness? Consciousness is there, but there's nothing else. Meaning, remember the word is self-ignorant. You're not even aware of yourself, but at the same time, you're not dead. Anandamayo, full of bliss. You may feel good, but you are not conscious. We'll talk about it in a few more minutes. He Ananda Bhuka, indeed employer of bliss. This stage, if you are, and that also I will explain, this stage, if you are conscious of, if you are aware of, then you are done. Meaning, that is the state of realization, because in which the objective world is absent, the dream world is absent. So there is either is this true or that is true is gone. There is nothing to compare to. So here, but the only thing missing in this is not the self-ignorance, but the self-awareness is missing. Pragna, Tritiya Pada. It is the third state, the third quarter. Now, let's just study the translation. That is the state of deep sleep wherein the sleeper does not desire any object, nor does he see any dream. Understand? Had he been desiring any object, that means he was in a dream state. And also Jagruta state too. But nor does he see any dream. The third quarter, third path is pragna, whose sphere is deep sleep. It is pragna, mind you, it is lovely stage of activity. The sheer missing point is he is not aware. So he is in deep sleep, in whom all experiences become unified or undifferentiated. There is no separation. Who is verily a homogeneous mass of conscious entire, who is full of bliss, who is indeed an enjoyer of bliss, and who is the very gateway for the projection of consciousness into the other two planes of consciousness, the dream and the waking state. Now, it is there, mind you, it is almost the stage of consciousness. You can even, for all practical purposes, you can say it's a self-realized state. But the only difference between this and the fourth state, the self-realized state, is, where was the word? Where he is not aware of himself. Self-ignorant, all right. So let me go over these few lines who is verily a homogeneous mass. Homogeneous mass meaning no activity, no changes, no change from Jagruta to sleep. So, homogeneous mass of consciousness entire, who is full of bliss. At that time, you will have joy, but you will not know because you are not aware. Who is indeed an enjoyer of bliss. That stage when you are not dreaming and you are also not awake with your 19 mouths and 7 limbs, okay? At that, you are not even aware for Jagruta Sthiti nor the dream state. That is the gateway. It's almost there. It's the gateway for the projection of consciousness into the other two worlds. Now here, wait for the gateway. And now gateway, that because of which that consciousness, that intelligence, that force is projecting you to feel the conscious state and also to feel the dream state. Are you with me? Let me so to say, both the stages, Vaishwanara and Tejasa, which we learned, that is the Jagruta state and Swapna state, both of these states would not have been there if the essence of the third stage would not have been there. That means if the consciousness would not have been there, then of course you would not have had the first stage and the second stage. That also means the third stage. The third stage will not be there because you are dead. But the difference is that in none of this you are self-aware. Understand? Throughout we are self-ignorant. Because understand, in Jagruta Sthiti, in the alert state, you know that you are doing all these activities, 7 limbs and 19 mouths. In the Swapna, meaning dream state, when you get up, you even remember, oh my God, yeah, like Chandrasekhar last time, we won $10 million lottery. Okay? That we remember. Why we remember? It was the same you who has his eyes open and taking part in the alert world or the Jagruta Sthiti. And the same guy was dreaming of it. And he was conscious of both. Conscious meaning that time he was alive. Let me use the word alive. Also, he is alive in the deep sleep state. But the deep sleep state is self-ignorant. And there are, okay, in the Jagruta Sthiti and the Swapna Sthiti, there are external objects in both the state. But in the Swapna, in the dream state, they are not tangible objects. Now let me use the word tangible, feelable. But it is still an experience. If you see a cobra chasing you, it will have the same effect like that of a Jagruta Sthiti, that means awake state. If the cobra is chasing you, you run, your blood pressure will go up. Yes, same thing will happen when a cobra is chasing you in dream state. But in Jagruta Sthiti, there is tangible cobra, while over here, The object is absent, but it appears to be present. And in the deep sleep state, there is no tangible object, there is no intangible object. But still, the self-ignorance is there. So what one experiences is just that, um, just that consciousness, real you, but you are not aware of it. And that's the only thing common in all the three, but you are not aware of.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति